client maintenance. See, basically client, as I said, client is the topmost part in the SAP system. When someone logs in into SAP, he logs in to the client. So client becomes a topmost in the hierarchy. So we will look at how a client is created, or how client is copied, etc. So client maintenance is nothing but creation of a client, uh, how to create that, and then maintaining it. Like there are different settings which we saw, like no one should be able to modify the client, etc. So if you go into the client maintenance, it will show you the number of clients which are available here. Okay. And
I mean, we can see hundreds of clients over here, right? I mean,
yeah. See, in test system you will find hundreds. They will create, someone creates it and keeps it. But in proper systems in companies, you may not find like that. You will find 2 3 clients. That's all. Because you're not allowed to just keep on creating clients unless it is a demo system or a training system. Training system, they will keep on creating. Okay. So if you click here on this particular icon, change and display, it will you will get a button like this, new entries. In this you can create the new client. So client copy is basically, as I said, uh, the name itself says, client copy. Copy means you have to have some source from where you can copy. So source always will come into picture. So source and destination. So one is going ahead now. What has happened is, earlier the transaction code was SCCL. Now it is changed to SCCLN. Okay. See what
okay,
is,
sir.
so that is that. Again, you don't have to remember. Like I said, all transaction codes also you don't have to remember. Once you log in into SAP, this menu is there. So you go here, you will know it is SCC4. Okay. So conceptually, if you remember it, nothing like it. So source client masters, from where you want to pick up the masters, etc. These are different settings, etc. Then here this is the new transaction code, source client, transaction target client. Then we spoke about the copy profiles, the different types of profiles which we need to use, which we saw this, different. These are provided by SAP. So you have to use one of these profiles, which is as per your requirement. You select it, and then run the program. Basically, it's a SAP standard program which will run in the background or start immediately. This
Okay, sir.
this takes time depending on the amount of data in the client. Source client contains more data. So creation of target client will also take more time, like that. Remote client copy is copying to, like it says remote. Remote means another server. So uh, you should know where that server is located. So that source destination, you will require a source destination. So you log on to the target, and then you will give the source destination details, like that. Again, here also you will give client copy, what is the profile, etc. Okay. Now, even in case of remote client copy, again the same thing. You have to give the same profile which you gave in the local. Then there are options of splitting of large tables, because then why this is used is because to speed up the operation of splitting the large tables. This we saw SCC9 remote. Client copy by transport request, like I said, from one client to another client on the same system, say from 100 to say 510, you want to copy something. The change request from development into the testing client. So that can be done using SCC1. So here you will just give the transport request number. Okay, target client is say 510 and your transport request number. So it will import it into this system. Then there is another option of client export. Client export is basically, suppose you have a system which is in say Mumbai, and you want to do import that particular client into another system elsewhere, which is not available in your this thing. You want to send the data elsewhere into another training system or something. So that in that case, what you do is you do a client export. So this client export is done. So client export details are given here again. Profiles same. Then these are the options which are available for client export, and then client import, whatever transport request is created here, because whenever you are doing the export, it will create again a transport request. So that transport request you need to import it into the system where you want to copy that client. Okay, so SCC7N is there now, new client, this is a new transaction code. So this is importing it. These are the options. Then whatever logs are created, whatever activity you did of client copy, this is the option where you get all the details. Suppose your client copy fails, if there is some problem or something, so you can go here and analyze the logs. So they call it client copy logs. Then comes SCU0, that is, as I said, you want to compare some objects from one client with the other client. Due to some reason you want to check, whether some objects have been transported to the from quality to development or not, or from development to quality. So you want to check across systems, then you can use this particular option to check the status in the other system and then come to a conclusion. So SCU0 is used. Then again there is another option of comparison of tables. Suppose you want to compare the customizing table of one client with the customizing table of another client. So you can give the table name or the view name. Then here you define the R3 connection. R3 connection is again, suppose you are on a production system and you want to compare it with something on development system. So you will give the R3 connection to the development system. That R3 connection is nothing but the RFC connection which you have defined in SM59. Then you have language management. As I said, by default SAP installs English and German. You want to install additional languages, so that can be done here. Then we came to a large topic which is related to the SAP licensing part, and that is called system measurement. System measurement is basically what type of users are there in the system. Are you using the SAP? The users are created as per your SAP licensing agreement or not. So for that, what you need to do is you have to do a self audit and send them the data of all production systems that you have. Okay, SAP already has all those details. So every year they will send you details that okay, you send us the user classification of all these systems. So in this case, what you have to do is these are the different options which are available. One is you should define which is your production client. This is applicable only to production clients. You can, for testing reasons, you can do it on other clients, but mostly when you are sending the data to SAP, it is on we have to select the production client. Then you have got something called price list, user types, defining the email and RFC destination, whether you want to keep history, then whether you would like to define the user type based on roles, classify the user based on roles, then defining rules and transport of rules. So this is selecting the client which you would like to measure. Okay, so you will, in this option, you will just select one of the clients which you would like to measure. What are the applicable price lists? There are different price lists which come with the software which you have installed. Now, since you have installed this software, that means this software is licensed. So you will also have a agreement copy with you. You need to check that and find out what is the price list which you are using. Okay, so you select one of them. So depending on this price list, the default user types are available here. So these are active in the sense these are part of that price list. So in addition to this, you can also select your own user types. For example, you could have BPC, or you could have uh, business warehouse, or some finance cockpit user, and so on. So you can define them here, and then you can tick in the sense, what happens is these user types are available to you for classification of the users. Okay. Then you will go to defining the email address to whom you want to send. This is basically the email address of the uh, person to whom the licensing data is to be sent. Okay, so that you will mention it here.
Target's email ID, right?
No, this is this is of the SAP license auditor,
Okay.
because they send you a mail in the every year they will send you a mail, na? So they will mention in that you have to send this data to this email ID, because you are not supposed to send it manually. Your system is connected at the back end to the SAP system. Okay. तो email, this email is basically SAP license auditor का email इधर देना है. So that is to be given here. Then here you have to define the RFC destination of the law central system. Law central system is you are going to consolidate all the for all the production system. You are going to consolidate it into a single system. Okay. So you will have to decide which will be your central system. Especially it is called a SAP solution manager system, wherein all the data is consolidated. Then you want to maintain history for how many days, how much time, etc. You can define those parameters here. Then coming to the role-based authorizations. Okay, uh, what type of again here it depends on these 3-4 parameters. Role-based in the sense what type of roles have been assigned to the users. Depending on that, you want to classify each of the users. For example, if he is a sales user, then all this particular role, let us say, now these are different role, but let us say you have selected a role which is of sales order entry. Then all users having that particular access will be classified as these are the users who are going to create sales order. So depending on that, you will have to decide what type of classification you would like to do, or what kind of roles you want to select. So that is called role-based classification of users. The another option is how you want. Let us say you apart from whatever we discuss, you want to define your own rules. But then these rules will be taking into consideration the authorization of that user, the role assigned to that, the user attributes, and the applications the user is using. So depending on this, you will create rules, and then these rules, on based on these rules, the users will be classified. Okay. And then comes the option where you can uh, transport these rules. Transport in the sense, because creation of rules is also it takes time. So once that is created, you don't want to duplicate the same activity in the other system. For you don't want to spend more time there. So what you can do is you can just transport those rules and use it in another system. So you have got an option of export and import that can be used. Okay. Then now this earlier this transaction code was there law. Now it is S law 2. So you have to use S law 2 in the consolidation system wherever your this licensing data is consolidated. There you will have to use this transaction code. Then once that is there, then this whatever data you have sent from your production systems, all production systems, it will get consolidated in this particular law system. Okay. So here it shows the data which is coming in. You can this is getting imported from the file and so on. This we don't have access to this, but this is what it is actually. All data comes here and then you consolidate it. Archiving, as I said, it's a ongoing process where data, which is because every time the data is increasing, the database size is increasing, and the disk space is costly. So management will always tell us to reduce the size of the database. So in that case, you have to do archiving. There are many archiving products which are available, which can be used to reduce the database size and move that data into some archiving medium, either file server or magnetic media or something like that, or optical media. This is used in case you require a different code page, etc. So this is for that, but hardly, I mean, unless there is a requirement, you don't have to use this. Now we'll see what we did for the next day. Okay, this was for 27. No, 26th. So 27th, let's see. Okay, 27th. Okay, so in this is basically related to system monitoring, whatever uh, because once we saw that you are able to log in through the system, the details, etc. System is installed, it is running. So you now to need to monitor on a daily basis. So SM50 will show you which are the work processes which are running. The different work processes, now you already know it: dialog, update, background, spool, etc. So, and this is a consolidated work process summary. If you click on this, you should be aware of all the buttons which are available in the menu. You click on this, only the active work process will be displayed. So this is what it is. Then you want to check what is the work process log for a particular work process which is running. You want to analyze that, or let us say this particular user is getting some errors or something. So you can select that and then click on this particular icon. It will show you the entire uh, this work process log. So you can use this log and analyze. You can also download it and send it to someone who is going to analyze. Let us say your senior requires it, then you can download it and send it to him. Or yeah, SAP support requires it, then you can send it to them, like that. SAP, this is SM51 transaction code will show you all the SAP servers which are running in the system. So it will show you the status here, whether it is active or shut down or having errors or so on. So using this, you can, for example, I'll run through here only. For example, this first icon, this is for refreshing this particular screen. The second one is for displaying the number of work processes that we saw. The third one is for displaying the number of users, the users who are logged on to this instance. Uh, this is locking, unlocking. Then this is release notes. What are, it will show you the details of this. Pending requests is unless the if the update there is a problem, then it will show you the requests which are still pending. This is for remote access to the server. If you have got multiple servers here, then you can select one of them and access that server directly. Then this is for system log, and this is for the system trace. Okay, so let's go down. This is for when you click on the release notes button, then it will show you what is the release information, etc. So these are the release details. So you don't have to remember all this. If someone wants some release details, you can access, log into the system, you can and give them the details, all the details. System log is with using this particular icon. You can see what is the, so you can give the date for which date you want the system log, etc. So there are different, these are the selection parameters on if you want to have a system log only for a specific transaction code, that you can give it. You can give it for a particular work process type, process number, and so on. So these are, you want to narrow it down your log, then you can give those parameters. And this is the way the system log looks. You can download this if you want for analysis, or you can analyze it on the way, on the go. Then this, as I said, it shows the number of users who are logged onto the system. You click on this, it will show you the number of users. So number of users who are logged in. We saw this number of work processes which are logged or running on this server. This is the server overview that we saw it in SM04. SM04 and this is the same transaction code. Like if you click here on this particular user, this thing, it will show you the same. SM04 and this is the same. How to view the sessions running for a user. So suppose you select this particular